man. It is day 21 of our honeymoon, which means 3 weeks that we've been gone.
3 weeks that we've spent together. We haven't been apart for more than 5 minutes.
I think the longest time that we were apart was yesterday when Emmanuel didn't make it on the train for a while.
Yes, that was the longest time we've been.
Yep.
No. It was that part we were at dinner before we left. Or you were talking to my mom for 20 minutes.
Anyway, since we've been gone, that was the longest part. I bet you're all missing us very much right now.
We don't miss you guys.
Yeah, we do.
I don't.
Yeah, he does. If you notice our room decoration, that's our laundry.
Laundry.
Those are some of my undies. Of course, bras, Emmanuel's undies. So we'll start with the beginning of the day, and then it's going to be a long video, so hang in there. It's interesting. So first we woke up, had breakfast, and then we went to, where did we go? Oh, yeah. And we
took the metro.
We took the metro, which there's only 2 lines, and we managed to get on the wrong one. So
we illegally got back on.
Oh, yeah, we snuck on because it wouldn't let us use our ticket again. And we're like, this is not going to work, so we just walked through the exit. And then when we went there, it was really cool. It was like a church that was functioning before it was made for, like,
pagan gods.
Yeah, and then they turned it into a Christian church. And the top of the dome is a hole, and there's no like ceiling on it. So when it rains, the water comes down from the hole into the church, and they purposely built the floor so that it caves down, and that there's holes in the ground so that it sucks in all the water.
But sometimes they said it wouldn't rain in there, and then they found out it's because they lit candles
back in the day before electricity.
So the dome shape, all the heat would go up into that hole. When it would rain, it would evaporate out, so it would look like it would never rain inside.
So it was really interesting. And then we walked over to the Piazza Novana, which is like where it used to be a racetrack, and they turned it. There was a church, and there's a water fountain thing. We bought a painting for our home in the future.
3 paintings.
Yeah, 3 paintings in like 1 frame. And then we went back and dropped off our painting, and then we had lunch and went and saw the Spanish Steps.
Wait. What did we have for lunch? Because apparently people do care what we have to eat.
I know,
Why
right?
you 2 or 3 people care?
I'm sure it's more. Just the people on my Facebook said that.
Why you guys?
I think everyone cares about food because food is super interesting and delicious.
Today we ate for lunch.
We had a snack. We were going to eat lunch there, but Emmanuel didn't want the pizza there, so we just shared a slice of, it was buffalo mozzarella cheese and Roma, or like baby tomatoes, and basil, like big basil leaves, but it was cold, which it was actually really good because like the tomatoes and the basil is better cold anyways. And then for lunch we went, this was like a little bit later.
We had a really good lunch.
Yeah, we had a really good lunch. We had
salad finally. It
was our second time having salad in the last 3 weeks.
It was so good.
We have been talking about how we can't wait for the cruise.
We finished all our salad.
And not all of our pizza.
And not all the pizza.
Yeah, we've been talking about the cruise and having a salad bar, and we just miss fruits and veggies.
Okay. So then we went on a tour.
Yeah, we went on a tour of the catacombs and the crypts. So one of the catacombs, it's where like they used to put all the bodies of the first Christians, because the Christians didn't believe in burying their bodies the same way the Romans did. And so Christianity wasn't really allowed, so they had these catacombs outside the Roman city because Romans thought that the spirits had to be like in their own city because it would like kind of haunt the city. So it was really interesting. They used to have all like the popes' bodies and like saints and all that kind of stuff.
They had the first 4 popes down there.
Yeah,
or 4 popes.
Then like some foreigners came and started selling stealing their bodies, so they had to remove all the bodies out of the catacombs and put them in churches. But it was really interesting. And then we went to a church that was Saint Clementi. It was like a Saint Clementi.
Now you guys know, all you guys are San Clemente.
So that feels close to our hometown, so in Orange County. So yeah, that was
was really cool.
Really interesting because they built the church. It was like the 19th century church was built on top of a 4th century church that was destroyed partially. And then that was built on top of a 1st century church, which was built on top of something that they couldn't uncover because if they keep digging, then the top church wouldn't
But you can start at the top church.
Yeah.
Then go down a floor, and it's the same exact church.
They built the same church, flipped. Yeah.
Yeah, but it got damaged, and they're like, oh, let's just rebuild it. So they filled it up with rubble, built on top of it.
They even filled it with water, which was interesting.
Yeah.
And the water helped preserve some of it. So now when we went down.
But that's how they don't. This lady said they don't demolish things; they just rebuild over it here
and use it as foundation.
So, what was it 1,000 years later? One of the guys in the church discovered it.
Well, everyone forgot about the bottom, the 4th century one.
The 6th century.
No, it was 4 and 2.
4 and 2, whatever.
So, yeah, by the time that people were using the 19th century church now, more recently, they had forgotten that they had built the church on top of other churches.
Of the same church.
Of the same style and everything. And so then one of the guys discovered it because he kept hearing running water. So he went downstairs, or he started digging.
Archaeologist.
Yes. And then he found the other, church below. So that was really interesting.
And then he died. And then they found another...
The 1st century church underneath that, which he didn't know.
So what it was, though, but there was, the guy, Saint Clemente.
Yeah.
His house became
the church at the time, because
so
back
for 200
then,
years they had his house. Then they built a church on top of it. Then that church got destroyed.
So they built another
church on top of it. So you can walk down these layers.
So we saw them.
And then from his house on the bottom layer, there's a stairwell
that they think leads to another part of the building.
That leads to another layer or something, but they just blocked it off because if we go through that,
the foundation would be unstable, so the whole building might collapse, kind of.
But you can walk. There's this huge area down there that people just forgot about.
Yeah, so it was really interesting. And the last part of the tour was really crazy. You talk about it. I'm gonna grab the picture.
So there's an order of some monks called Capuchin. Some sort of sect.
Yeah, it's Capuchin.
Some sort of sect of Catholicism.
Of monks. They believed in poverty, and they believed
super poor.
Yeah, and helping the poor and just living a very simple life.
Yeah. So they when you die, they can turn your bones into artwork.
Well, first they don't, because that was real. We saw that.
So we walked by and there's just it was 5 or 6 rooms, and they just placed bones everywhere.
Designs, flowers, crosses.
Clocks and chandeliers.
They made chandeliers out of bones, and it was all kinds of bones, different people's, all combined into
and it's really weird. Some
things.
of them aren't decomposing. They're not really sure
There's
why.
Skin over some of them. It was really interesting and weird and creepy, and basically they believe because they don't have a lot of possessions, they think that the family, the Christian family, and your bodies, and the whole thing was to remind us that we're just bones, and the bones mean nothing.
They left a message. It was we used to be what you are,
and you will be what we are now.
Yeah, something like that.
And the clocks were to help you remember that time, you have no control over time, and that your time will end, and you will come to be just a pile of bones that are meaningless.
I think it was almost 4,000 bodies that they had. The bones of 4,000 bodies went into these.
And when, it was interesting because they had a different location for these bones, and then when they built this area, they actually used wagons to carry all of the bones over. Because they thought that they needed to bring their brothers with them.
They were in another country, and there was some turmoil, and I was in France or something, and there was turmoil there, so they had to leave, and they don't have any belongings except for the bodies of their dead people before them. So they passed on to 40 wagons, and left France to come to Rome.
And carried all of the bodies with them.
And just brought their bodies.
And then when they brought the bodies out, they started using them as decorations. So
I don't know why, but
this was just one of them again. It was really creepy and weird, and there were crosses and clocks and all kinds of things.
I didn't want to touch, so I didn't. But you could definitely just reach out and touch a bunch of bones of dead people.
So that was what we saw, and then we went to dinner. And dinner wasn't that great. Emmanuel got his first calzone, but it was really greasy.
I didn't like that.
Yeah, it wasn't a good dinner. And then we came home. We were going to do laundry because we're going on the cruise, and we have to hang dry some things so they don't shrink. And so we asked our hotel, and they said that there's a laundry place 20 meters down the street. And I don't know how much they charge.
Don't tell them.
Really?
It's a lot of. That's fine. Tell them.
They charge 11 euros.
11 euros
for one load, wash and dry, which is like $13 or so for one load. And the dryer didn't even dry that well, so I still had to hang some of the things that we use the dryer on. So we weren't going to pay it. We were going to hand wash everything, but our hotel doesn't provide us extra towels, so we couldn't like bring them out, and so then they'd just be dripping everywhere, and we don't have enough space to hang them all. And so long story short, we paid the 11 euros, weren't happy about it.
The guy was really nice.
We brought him gelato, so I'm sure he was nice.
He was nice before we bought him gelato.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. So we went and got gelato down the street. It wasn't that great either. I had pistachio, and it was like eating cold frozen pistachios, the most pistachio kind of flavor you can ever have. It was weird. Mine. So, yeah, all in all, the day was great. It was really interesting, and we have 2 more tours tomorrow and the next day, so we will learn a lot and share with you. And we're sorry that this video is so long, and we love you guys, and we'll see you soon. All right. Good night. That's what we see a lot of people do. Bye.